we're going to learn how to get our digital portfolios set up in Weebly.com. So the first thing we need to do is go to sign up. And we're going to sign up with a personal email if you want access to it outside of school. So like once you graduate, or if you leave and go to a different school district, this way you still have access. So I will enter in my information here. Chances are I already have my information in here. I believe I already have this registered, but I'll just kind of show you how this works. So personal email, you create your own password, your location, and then you will continue. I might try one of my other, let's do, we'll just do my school email. So if you use your school email, that's fine. Just be aware that you would lose access to it after you leave. So if it's something you think you may want to keep, you'll want to make sure that you use a personal email instead. Okay, that looks good. Click continue. I just want to show you what the screen looks like when you actually sign in. So I'm signing in with a different email. So once you get into Weebly, you're going to be able to set up your website. And this is for free. We're not using any paid services or anything like that. I mean, you can if you want to, but I'm not requiring it. You can choose whether or not you want to save. I'm going to save it because I'm on my personal desktop. All right. So it says, what kind of website would you like to create? A business website or personal? We are just going to choose personal. So we're not going to be setting up like online payments or anything. We're just going to be doing personal websites. So try Weebly websites. Here it's going to have a bunch of awesome templates, and you'll see they even have them divided by category. So we have business, portfolio, personal. Guess which one we're going to choose? Generally, most of you would probably choose portfolio, and it's going to give you a few different options for you to try. I'm going to hide that. Now these can all be personalized. If you don't like any of these, feel free to try some other websites too. Just know that portfolio is a good place to start. So let's say I just want to start with this one. You can preview it, and then once you, hopefully that doesn't work like that, but that's all right. We'll say start editing. Hopefully this works. And then we'll see what we need to add and change. So when you start with a template, you're going to have to make some edits. And Weebly is really nice because it lets you really fine tune things. Like you can even add your own custom HTML and CSS, which is kind of nice. The other thing too with the domain is that we're not doing like a custom domain. You're not going to actually like pay for it. So again, I'll talk about that in a minute. We're just gonna exit out of this for a minute. Okay. So here you can see where it says my site. Like this is where, you would probably type in like your name. Like I would just say like Bailey's portfolio. Okay. Your pages. So this is your page manager. That's going to be right at the top here. This is where you can change your pages. So if you want to keep an about page, that's fine. Editing those things, you can replace the image, edit the image, changing the spacing, the text, everything there. If you want to get rid of a page, like for example, maybe I want to get rid of the contact page. If I feel like that's not something I'm going to need, I can just press delete and delete that page. Okay. So there's a lot to be edited here, and you can start from like just a blank template too, but I usually like to start with something just to kind of like give me a starting point. Now, let's say homepage, I want to just be my portfolio page. Like I want people when they land on my homepage to immediately see my work. Then I would go in and say replace image, clicking on those images and finding, my designs that I've created. Like here's that graphic that I made earlier. And it should support animation. It should support, you can do videos, any kind of web graphics you've done, your illustrations, logo design, whatever you want. And I recommend, or you will need to include at least 3 of those. I recommend putting more if you can onto your portfolio page, whatever that looks like. And then to add kind of that blurb or caption underneath each one, like here, I'll go ahead and I just clicked on it, click on caption, and then I can type in like, graphic created in Canva for my graphic design and digital art students. Okay, that's good enough. And that just kind of like gives you a brief little explanation of what that's used for. If you don't want to do it that way, I can go back to build here and you could just drag like text over where you want it and then just type out, what you want to add there. That way you can change fonts and sizes and stuff too. To delete things, so if you hover over it, you can see there's a little X box here. Click delete. It's not always like the most intuitive, so sometimes you'll end up with some glitches and things, but it's fine. So right now I'm obviously not done, but I'm going to go ahead and just click publish and I'll show you how this works. Here we go. All right, let me make sure I can change that. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so you can just type in like whatever you want the name of your website to be, which it's going to have to be more than just portfolio or like Ashley's portfolio. You're going to have to be a little more unique. So I just typed in B Quam portfolio, but if I typed in Bailey's portfolio, it wouldn't be available. We're not choosing custom domains, okay? We're not doing plans. We're not paying for this. We're going to be using these. And if it looks like it's unavailable, you're going to have to choose a different one. So I'm going to type in B Quam portfolio. And then we're going to do the free with Weebly branding. That's fine. We're not going to pay for it. I'm going to click on choose. Okay. So now my website, this is your URL. This is what you're actually going to submit on Google Classroom for the submission. So you're not going to do anything else. You can just basically highlight this and do Control-C on the keyboard to copy. I'll say done here. So now it's publishing. Now when I click on that link, this URL, again, this is what you're actually submitting. It's going to take me to that live website. Now there's icons here. That's one of the web graphics you can edit. You could do something with a header or a logo. You could do some custom illustration graphics if you wanted to. It's totally up to you what graphics you want to do based on your portfolio. So when we go back to this reference here, it could be buttons. So if I zoom in a lot here, you can see there's like buttons for, click on my recent work, or like a label for clicking on, right? Donate, click, search. Dividers, that's really nice if you have a lot on one single page and you want to divide it or, make it kind of break up the space, especially lines of text. Icons, which are those social media icons, little things. You can even, and I believe I've done this before, change the icon of your actual website. So right now I have the Weebly icon. I believe I can edit that. I haven't done it for a while, but I'll have to look into that. You can kind of play around with the icons as well, or just icons, logo designs in the portfolio itself. I go back here. Other things too, like the headers and the GIFs and illustrations, you're more than welcome to create those that make sense for your portfolio. So maybe up here I want like an animated logo that would count as a web graphic or illustration. Headers, it's kind of like Google Classroom headers. You could also add those at the top here. You can even see there's like a logo option. And you can also play around with the layout of the page itself. So if I click on the page and I say header type, right now it says no header, but I choose header. It's going to add a header to my page here. So you can see kind of the default. It even added like a button here that you can change. You can delete if you want to. But this header background, if I click on that, it says edit background or replace header layout. So here is where I can actually like add an image and change it up a little bit. So if you want a header, that's one way to do it. Otherwise, you could also just add it as an image file when you go to the build section. So if I go like image and just add an image here, that could count as my header. This is going to look bad, but we'll just upload it. I don't know. We'll just do this one, I guess, the donate now if it's big enough. If that's your header, there you go. That'll work. So lots of options here, and we're not going to go through every single one because if I did that, it would take way too long. I'm going to exit out of this. But just remember that every time you want your changes to save, you're going to have to click publish. So that's why I like to click publish early on. So then I can just copy this URL over, and then I'll go to Google Classroom. I'll go to the assignment, the digital portfolio web design assignment, and then you'll go add link when you actually go to turn it in. Once you add the link, you'll click turn in, and then that's it. That's all I need from you, because as long as I have the URL and you keep publishing it every time you work on it, I should be able to see your changes. So when you're done, it'll update and I can just go to it and be like, yep, there's your work. There are your 3 graphics. Double check and make sure you have all of the requirements. So at least 3 examples of work created by you. These do not have to be created in just graphic design 1 class. These could be, just things you've done over the past, couple of years if you want. A page or part of your home screen that introduces yourself, just like a little blurb about yourself, whatever makes sense for that. So you can do a separate page like I have here with the about page, or include it all on one like home page. We looked at different portfolios where instead of like multiple pages, they just had like a single landing page that you scrolled through. It could certainly be like that. Just be careful and consider, what is the most important part of your portfolio? Is your work more important, or is an explanation of like you and your work more important? And that's going to depend on entirely on opinion. What do you think is the most important information? Um, Pages, if you have multiple pages, just arrange them how you wish. Extra pages are just fine. So if you want like a page for photography and a page for logos and, separate pages for different types of designs, that's fine too. However, it makes sense to organize. And then customizing colors and design template as desired. If I go back to, oh my gosh, to Weebly here, I can go to my theme. I can change my theme and also my fonts. So here's where I can really have some fun with customizing, where I could say, instead of, I think it's for this typeface here. So this is your site title, and I could kind of play around with different typefaces related to that. It's just whatever they offer here for the most part. You can see most of them are like the Google typefaces, but I can make this bigger. I can change the color. Maybe I want it to be blue, whatever. Even like letter spacing. So like that kerning, I think is kind of fun to play with. That's underneath theme. So just be careful, like when you're going through, it's good to like pay attention to like, okay, what am I actually going to be editing, and like your link color, right? Like you want your link color to be a different color than your text color. So just be careful of that. Or image caption, I'm changing the color of the image caption, or, the style of it overall, maybe I want it to be that typeface, whatever. Okay. Again, press publish anytime you make some significant changes, just so it auto updates. Okay, so that's theme. Apps we're not going to get too into, but I know I personally have used apps for like when I run my blog, I have certain ones that I need. Settings is more going to be like your SEO, your general settings. I'm curious if here's the icon. I think you have to upgrade, unfortunately, for that, but that's fine. If you did upgrade, great, but I don't want you to feel like you have to pay for any of this. Let's go back to build. Okay. Don't worry about paying for anything. Let's see other things. There's like gallery, slideshow, contact form if you want somebody to contact you. There is a button function in here, but if you could count that as a web graphic, but I encourage you to design any web graphics in like Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva, like designing your own instead of just relying on the buttons that they give you. Same with like sections and dividers. I'd like you to design that yourself. Here you can link YouTube videos, files. So if you have like a PDF file you want to link, don't worry about products or categories because we're not selling anything as far as I know. Most of these, I don't think we need to really worry about. Maybe search box. I don't know if you really need a search box. Portfolios tend to be fairly simple websites, so you don't need to go too crazy with it. So from here, that's kind of like your basic outline of how to set up your website. You're going to have several days to work on this. So really, put some time and effort into it, make it your own, make it special, really change up colors and, make it unique, right? Like this is your website. This is your place to really showcase your identity, your branding, all of that good stuff. So really have some fun with it. Do what you can. If you're stuck on something, feel free to Google it. Otherwise, you can always ask me for help too. All right. Have fun and enjoy.